Hello, Mike Kako, and good afternoon. Mahalo for joining today's EIG, Energy, Environmental Governmental Affairs and Agriculture Environment Committee joint hearing. It's Friday, March 21st, 2025, and we are convened in room 224 and video conferencing, which includes the audio and video of remote participants that's being streamed live on YouTube. In the unlikely event that the hearing is cut short, well, it's kind of late, we won't be reconvening, but because of our 90-minute time limit, there will be a 2-minute time limit for all testifiers. And we will start off with SCR 34, SR 20, requesting Hawaii's congressional delegation to petition the United States Department of Agriculture to address the lack of parity between Hawaii and other states and territories pertaining to the export of agricultural goods. And first up is Department of Agriculture.
Aloha, chairs, vice chairs, and members of the committee. Matthew Look on behalf of the Department of Agriculture. We will stand on our testimony in support of these resolutions. Thank you for the opportunity. We'll be happy to take questions.
Okay, thank you very much. Leimomi Khan, also in support. Anyone else wishing to testify on this measure, either online or in person? Members, are there any questions? Hearing none, I'll turn it over to my co-chair.
Okay, we're going to move on to the next two measures. Senate Concurrent Resolution 41 and SR 25, encouraging each county to establish its own biosecurity plan that prioritizes the needs of the county. First on our testifiers list, we have Department of Agriculture.
Good afternoon, chairs, vice chairs, members of the committee, Jonathan Hall. We stand on our written testimony, offering comments available for questions. Thank you.
Don Chang or someone from DLNR. Thank you. Chelsea Arnott.
Aloha chairs, vice chair, members of the committee, Chelsea Arnott on behalf of the Hawaii Invasive Species Council. We'll stand on our written testimony and support. Having county plans is a really great way to coordinate efforts to respond to invasive species. Mahalo.
Thank you, Chelsea. Stephanie Easley.
Good afternoon, chairs, vice chair, members of the committee. My name is Stephanie Easley with the Coordinating Group on Alien Pest Species. I apologize for our late testimony and thank you for any consideration you're able to give it. We appreciate your consideration of these resolutions. Counties have a huge role to play in invasive species prevention and response, and the legislature encouraging each county to develop a plan might catalyze their development. We are requesting one small amendment on page 1, line 30 that asks that the plans include legislative changes that the counties might like to see to increase their biosecurity. There's a couple of areas where the counties might need legislative changes to really effectively support their biosecurity. Green waste is one of them. Counties have a big role to play. Another one that comes to mind is noxious weeds. The Hawaii Department of Agriculture makes a list of noxious weeds, and those plants can't be sold or imported into Hawaii. Counties are prohibited by law from adding plants to this list. HDOA also has a cost-sharing program to combat noxious weeds on private lands. The list has not been updated since 1992, and there are no cost-sharing programs. Lots of states have county weed boards that handle the noxious weed issue at a county level, so that might be one that they would consider. And that's my testimony. Thank you for your consideration. I'm here if you have any questions.
Thank you, Stephanie. Is there anyone else wishing to testify on these two measures, SCR 41 or 25? Not members, any questions?
Chair.
Senator Richards?
Yeah, first, Chelsea, let's start with you.
Chelsea Arnott, Hawaii Invasive Species Council.
Thanks, Chelsea. I don't disagree that the more we focus in on invasive species, it's a good thing. What I'm kind of curious, how would we're trying to struggle with that right now at the state level, at the county, in less than 1 minute, describe to me how you would see an interface. What would be that way to work?
Yeah, I appreciate the question. And it's already working. We have a memorandum of understanding right now that's amongst the state departments, DLNR, HGOA, and the University of Hawaii. Basically, the entities that are doing on-the-ground response for little fire ants, CRB, and coqui frogs. And from that MOU, one of the actions is developing county-based response plans. So we already have plans for each of the counties for little fire ant, and then we're currently drafting for CRB and coqui frogs. I think this is an opportunity to engage the counties more. Maui County invests a lot of money in invasive species and watershed protection. And so I think this is a great way to engage the other counties on the islands to have more involvement, funding, resources, policy-wise. And there are specific issues in different statuses of those species on each of the islands.
Okay, and then just a quick follow-up on that. One of the challenges we have right now with invasive species, if there is one detected, a quarantine need. I am thinking that we don't want to give everybody the capability to create a quarantine, but we need to strengthen up at the state level. Is that your opinion of how we would do that? Because I know the state's struggling right now as far as designating a quarantine area.
Yeah, that's definitely, and maybe that's something Jonathan Ho from Department of Agriculture can better answer, but that is their regulatory authority. I'm sorry.
That's right, it's a big bus. We can throw everybody under it.
Jonathan Ho, Plant Quarantine Branch Manager. So I think as it relates to quarantine, the ability to issue a quarantine isn't, I guess, the easiest issue. There's a very clear process on how to do it. We have interim rulemaking that allows for restrictions that are outside of 91. And I think, again, I think going back to the intent of the bill or the measure is to, right, I think getting the counties involved more. So I think that we have, I think, a more collective response. And I think to the extent of, I think, I don't know what the term is, where the state trumped, or is it preemption, I guess. I think, right, not allowing each county to do what they'd like individually at the county level does make for some challenges, particularly as it relates to, commerce and movement. Right. I think particularly as it relates to things like LFA and coqui, which are, really, they don't have traditional like host material that kind of like on everything. And we're kind of dealing with that right now to some extent. We have a new coqui thing that we found like 45 minutes ago that we're working on, so.
Okay, so again, so what I'm gathering is, develop structure. Sounds like Maui, we could template a little bit off of that to get things done, or other counties could. But I think the quarantine thing, make it easier for the state to affect one, but leave it at the state level and definitely not give it to the county level. Is that kind of the gist I'm understanding? Okay, thank you. And Chair, one more question.
Oh, before they leave, can I just ask where the coqui, which island the coqui thing's
It's on Oahu.
It's on Oahu. Can you tell us where?
It's right by my office. So it's on non-agricultural goods.
So it's not on, I don't know where your office is. Sorry.
It's Sand Island.
Sand Island, okay, thanks.
Yeah, so it's not, the likelihood of it becoming established in a forested area is unlikely at this point. But because of the material and the location that it's on, we're trying to figure out how to address it. Because the goods originated from Hawai'i Island, but they're not regulated. But as they're doing the work, they found frogs in it. So we're working with them to see if we can use an alternative treatment such as fumigation to do it, because it's quite a large shipment.
Okay, thanks, Chair. Question?
We've been, identify yourself.
Stephanie Easley Seagaps.
Yeah, we've been talking about bugs, but we're also, there's the plant side of invasive species. And I was wondering this, I know on the Big Island, it was probably 30 years ago now, Synesia madagascar's fireweed. Had we been able to respond quickly, we wouldn't have the problem in the state that we have today. But we didn't have the ability to respond, or at least the government side. Private could have, but they didn't. So I think there's a disconnect there. At a county level, this may be something that they could respond quickly. Your thoughts on that?
Thank you for the question. I absolutely agree. It's county by county with the invasive species, and having a biosecurity plan that outlines how they could respond when something is found with a control action would facilitate that action, enable it to happen quickly. For the listing of species and preventing the movement of species, that's preempted from counties right now. And, again, Washington State has this county weed board. It's kind of the model. They meet every year and they look at their species in their county and make a list and look at what they don't want in that county, because maybe it's too widespread to deal with anymore. So having programs like that in a plan at the county level, I think could respond to situations like that and prevent the spread.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Sure. Any further questions on these two resolutions, 41 and SR 25? If not, we're going to move on to the next couple of resolutions, SCR 56 and SR 40, urging the United States government to develop a national biodiversity strategy. First, we have Don Chang or someone from DLNR. Okay. Jeanette Burdick from Purple Maya has submitted testimony in support. Is there anyone else wishing to testify on these two resolutions? Members, any questions for the Department of Land and Natural Resources? Okay, we're going to move on to the last set of resolutions, SCR 110 and SR 91, requesting the Hawaii State Energy Office to conduct a study evaluating the feasibility of establishing a green bonds program in the state. On our testifiers list, we have Mark Glick or someone from the Energy Office. No one's here. They've submitted commentary, and Beatrice DeRago from the Coalition Earth has submitted testimony in support. Is there anyone else wishing to testify on these two measures? If not, we'll take a brief recess.
Reconvening the 1 o'clock joint agenda. Chairs have conferred on decision-making on, we'll start off with SCR 34 and SR 20. Let's see, the recommendation will be to pass with technical non-substantive amendments for the purposes of clarity and consistency. Any discussion? Chair votes aye. Vice Chair?
We're voting on both together, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Chair's recommendation on SCR 34 and SR 20 is to pass with amendments. Chair Gabbard votes yes. Senator Richards.
Aye.
Senator DeCoit is excused. I'll vote yes. Senator Watt.
Aye.
Recommendation's adopted.
Thank you, member.
Okay, for EIG, same recommendation. Any discussion? If not, Senator Richards, I vote yes.
On SR 20, SCR 34, passing with amendments, Chair votes aye. Senator Chang is excused. Senator DeCoit is excused. I vote aye, and Senator Favela.
Aye.
Chair, you have 3 in favor. Motion adopted.
Perfect. On the next two resolutions, SCR 41 and SR 25. The two chairs have conferred, and we would like to implement the one suggested amendment from CGAP's Coordinating Group on Alien Pest Species. They suggested, as was I think conveyed by Stephanie, we would add at the end of page 1, line 30, and identifies proposals for legislative changes at the state and county level to promote the county's biosecurity, which I think would make the bill even more effective. So that is the one suggested amendment to these two resolutions. Any discussion? If not, Senator Richards, I vote yes.
On SCR 25 and SR 25 and SCR 41 passing with amendments. Chair votes aye. Senator Chang and Decoit are excused.
Senator Chang just arrived.
Oh, Senator Chang just
He's a
arrived.
strong yes. Oh, no, just joking. Are you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hang on, we're fixing things here. Senator Decoit is excused. I vote aye, and Senator Favela? Aye. Chair, you have 4 in favor, motion is adopted.
Same recommendations for AEN. Any discussion? Chair votes aye. Senator Rhodes?
Chair's recommendation, SCR 41, SR 25 is to pass with amendments. Chair votes yes. Senator Richards.
Aye.
Senator DeCoit is excused. I'll vote yes. Senator Waugh.
Aye.
Recommendations are adopted.
Thank you, members.
Okay, the next pair of resolutions are SCR 56 as well as SR 40. Two chairs have conferred on this. Love the language of the bill and would like to pass it out as is. Any discussion? If not, Senator Richards, I vote yes.
Of the 4 members in attendance, are any voting with reservations? Any no votes? Chair, your motions have adopted.
Same recommendations for AEN. Chair votes aye. Senator Rhodes?
Chair's recommendation on SCR 56 and SR 40 is to pass unamended. Chair Gabbard votes yes. Vice Chair Richards.
Aye.
Senator DeCoit is excused. I'll vote yes. Senator Waugh. Aye. Recommendations adopted.
Thank you, members.
The last pair of resolutions are SCR 110 and SR 91. This is an interesting tool that the state could possibly use in its renewable energy aspirations. We'd like to pass this measure out with technical, non-substantive amendments. Any discussion? If not, Senator Richards, I vote yes.
Of the 4 members in attendance, is anybody voting with reservations or no votes? Chair, you have 4 in favor, motion adopted.
Same recommendation for AEN. Chair votes aye. Senator Rhodes?
Chair's recommendation, SCR 110, SR 91 is to pass with amendments. Chair Gabbard votes yes. Vice Chair Richards.
Aye.
Senator DeCoit is excused. I'll vote yes. Senator Waugh.
No.
No. Recommendations adopted.
Thank you, and that concludes the 1 o'clock agenda. Adjourned.